All right, today we want to talk about this magnificent Pierce Arrow 1934 1240A 12-cylinder sedan. You can imagine this was just before wartime, okay? What it was like to be driving around in 1934 when cars really had just existed for about 30 some odd years at that point. To have gone from a horse and buggy to this thing is truly an astonishment. So we're in the process of cleaning this car up and getting it ready for sale. It's a highly sought after model because 12 cylinders were just the creme de la creme of the time. So you can imagine going from a single cylinder combustion engine to 12 cylinders in about 34, 38 years was quite a feat. And to see one of these on the street when people were still driving around in Model Ts and Model As, you had to be somebody. You had to be Daddy Warbucks to be able to afford one of these things. So we have a lot of documentation for this Pierce Arrow 1240A as well. It's got two single downdraft carburetors, one for each bank or each side. So you got to have the carburetors synced up for this thing to run properly because they're opposing each other. So with 12 cylinders, you got to keep them synced. This is all business in here. It's beautifully appointed. You've got the burl wood dash, a beautiful instrument cluster, and a nice big steering wheel. Why did you have the big steering wheel? Because power steering wasn't an option back then. So running boards were also all the rage back then, and literally you could stick some people on there to protect you while you're driving and look over you. And a lot of the presidents had them. It wasn't until the 50s that running boards kind of went by the wayside. So not all cars had them, but big cars like this did. So gauges were pretty simple. You had fuel, oil, amp, and temperature, and that's about it. Electronic, what are those? Other than you had a couple lights in the back and some big lights up front. That was it. And what was nice about the Pierce Arrow is they kind of were the first ones to French in, if you will, the headlights on the front. So the headlights were actually part of the fender, where most of the other cars of the era actually had huge headlights that were mounted either on either side of the grille, or they were mounted on the fender, but they weren't integrated into the fender. So Pierce Arrow was kind of forward thinking in that regard. Who needs one of these? Everybody needs one. I say I sell everything you want, but nothing that you need. This is a need. If you have a car collection, you got to have a Duesenberg, you have to have a Pierce Arrow, you have to have a Packard. So this would be a fitting example for anyone's fine collection.